Stand in the line and just to get food from Loaded. And I also can't believe how many people are donating.
Support for protesters through food. Free meals from a Northeast Portland food cart. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for The Good Stuff. I am Ashley Korsland. You know, photos show the line of people stretching around the block at Keys Loaded Kitchen. Our Devin Haskins shares the owner's good deed.
If you want a full meal, Keys Loaded Kitchen has got you covered. The food cart serves large portions of comfort food.
I wanted to get something that I couldn't go get, which is a big plate of food that includes dessert and a drink and fresh baked bread. Like, I want to have all that every time I eat.
The pandemic hasn't slowed down business for her, and the protests have kept her even busier.
Right now we're doing Feeding Black Portland.
The end of May, Kiana Nelson received a donation from activist and former mayor candidate Teresa Rayford. The money donated helped cover a meal for 40 black protesters. A typical meal costs around $25 and can feed a family.
Once we had that happen, then we had people from the community start to donate.
Money started pouring in. Kiana was busier than ever making food. Feeding Black Portland began to include everyone.
So I decided that it would be for all protesters, black, white, you know, any whatever religion or creed you are. So it's for everyone.
On Fridays and Saturdays starting at 1, lines now stretch around the block and beyond.
Now the line is up to, honestly, it's 4 blocks long. With the donations that we are receiving, the food is lasting much, much longer. It used to last about 2 or 3 hours. I'm in there right now, 5, almost 6 hours. So we're producing a lot more food, and it's pretty tough, but it's beautiful. It's worth it.
Kiana says this is about giving food, giving love and comfort, so the ones marching can keep going.
Yeah, that is great. And you know, young voices joined this week's protests against racism too. This event here in Southwest Portland was put together by a student named Oliver Rice. He asked his mom to help plan the march to a nearby Fred Meyer.
I was thinking that when I went to a Black Lives Matter protest not too long ago, and I thought, well, why not ask my mom if I can do a Black Lives Matter protest? I wanted kids' voices to be heard.
And there was another event for kids to take a stand. That was at Sunnyside School Park. Well, speaking of parks, Portland now has a park named for a black woman who was a prominent local leader. Lynchview Park in southeast Portland is now Verdell Burdine Rutherford Park. Cassidy Quinn talked with the woman's daughter to learn about the woman who inspired the change.
She did the flyers, she did the handout, she did the program, she did all, and the meal after the speech. If there was food, she would have cooked that too.
Verdell was a leader in Portland's black community for years. She and her husband, Otto G. Rutherford, led the local chapter of the NAACP and worked hard to fight racism in Oregon, including passing the Public Accommodations Act of 1953, which outlawed discrimination in public places on the basis of race, religion, or national origin.
Public accommodations was an affront to black people. Signs saying you could not come in, you could not eat, you could not sleep, you could not be there. So the public accommodation law that they passed really did set the tone for future laws and future protections for protected classes.
Verdell was also an avid historian of Portland's black community, and her collection of photos, albums, newspapers, and more is available for public use at Portland State University. Now, at first glance, the renaming and opening of this park might seem perfectly timed, while the topic of racism is front and center in America.
But it actually was planned before.
Oh, yeah, well before.
Happened?
I mean, yeah, they had already made the decision to name it after her and started the construction on the park long before I knew anything about it.
Before he passed in January, former Parks Commissioner Nick Fish formed a naming committee to recommend a new name for the park.
I have known Nick and his Nick Fish that Nick didn't know anything about. He passed before they made the decision to give it to my mom. So it's like it's come full circle on its own.
Now, unfortunately, because of COVID-19, the playground here is currently closed, but the rest of the park features are open. And Portland Parks and Rec says there will be a community celebration held here at Verdell Burdine Rutherford Park at a later date.
And another Portland business covered in plywood becomes a canvas. We've seen it at the Apple store downtown, but now this art has been created right here at the St. Honore Bakery. This is on Southwest Broadway, a place allowing emerging artists to express their emotions. Well, we have more.
With KGW Verify reports, we're working every day to separate fact from fiction. We go to trusted sources, so we're able to tell you if something is accurate or if something isn't. So there's no second guessing on your part.
We are here visiting Jake to award him with a perfect attendance award for having perfect attendance from kindergarten to 5th grade at Seaside Heights. Congratulations.
What an
Jake.
accomplishment. Great job, Jake.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
If it's still a school year, you just try not to get sick in any way. Otherwise, it'll be way harder to get to school.
Great job. Great job. Well, we couldn't be more proud of you. Congratulations. What an awesome accomplishment.
Yeah, that is quite the accomplishment. And we appreciate Jake's mom, Pam Baldridge, for sharing that story with us. Well, for those who are finishing high school right now, this is a busy week for graduation. Schools are throwing creative celebrations with COVID in mind. Today, seniors at Lincoln High School had the chance to shine on stage. Students came at certain times with social distancing in mind. They picked up diplomas and posed for photos on the school's track. And seniors at Wilson High had their own unique take on graduation this week. Photojournalist Stephen Redlin shows us.
And without further ado, let us begin. Let us graduate the Wilson class of 2020.
Having a drive-through graduation ceremony.
Graduation is finally here. Getting their diplomas at Wilson High School is the final act for these students.
I'm nervous, actually.
Graduating from high school is important in anyone's life, full of friendships, accomplishments, and challenges. But this year, it's different.
It was fun. I've been to every other graduation except for my own.
It's a difficult time to be graduating.
The graduates went on a drive-through ceremony, all right, but there's a surprise on this drive. Stop, get out, and walk across a stage. It adds even more to the memories of this very unique year.
Feels crazy. I can't believe that happened. I just am gonna say thank you so much for letting us at least go across the stage.
I thought it was really cool. They were really good this year with planning everything.
Ceremony makes it real for people, regardless of what the ceremony is. So something.
It's been an interesting end to the year, and we want to come out here, show our support to the seniors for their hard work, and to show that we see them and we care.
For the 391 graduating students at Wilson High School in Southwest Portland, the last months of their schooling has been totally different than any of them could ever imagine. Their senior year is over remotely.
It just kind of was assumed that graduation wouldn't truly happen. Originally, we were maybe going to have a commencement in August, but it's nice to just have it over now and get closure.
Plus, at a nationwide protest.
I'm actually going to a protest later in the day today. I'm hopefully going to wear this outfit to show that I'm a graduate and I'm for the movement. I honestly was just focused on not falling.
And there is no way that this year can be forgotten.
And it's unique. No one will ever have this experience, right? This exact. Yeah.
Congratulations!
58 seniors this year.
And that was Stephen Redlin reporting. Well, she's not even in high school yet, but a Beaverton girl is quite the entrepreneur. How she went from scrunchies to face masks.
I feel very proud of myself for doing this, and I love helping people, so it makes me even more proud.
Want want to recognize the good work of a young, incredible girl in Beaverton. She already had her own business, but then she figured out a way to have it help other people during the pandemic.
You'll probably wonder what all these fabrics are on the table for.
At just 10 years old, Gianna Harris is leaving her mark on the world.
Hi, Scrunchy Bunchies!
The fourth grade entrepreneur started her own business last year, Gigi's Scrunchies. Mom Anna taught her how to sew.
But I wanted to teach her so that in the event that she wanted to do something, she knew she was able to hand make it herself, or at least attempt to, right? And be creative.
So one day we went to Joann's and bought some fabric, and my first ever one, I hand sewed it, so I didn't have a machine or anything like that. It was very fun for me.
Gianna started small, selling scrunchies to friends at school. Then she graduated to a business license, a website, and even hosted a pop-up shop.
Bye. She sold out over 300 scrunchies in like 2 hours, so it was pretty successful. She really enjoyed it.
Then the pandemic hit, and Gianna jumped to action.
She's like, hey, I was watching the news, and what do you think about making masks? And the first thing in my mind, I'm like, I don't know how to make a mask, right? And so Anna and Gianna, they got together and figured out how to make them.
Learning as they went, the family started sewing, eventually selling 1,000 masks online.
It takes a lot of work for each mask.
Then Gianna's mom saw a social media post from Metropolitan Family Service asking for mask donations for its frontline workers. The family knew they could help, and for good reason. MFS serves thousands of local families in need with things like food and after-school activities.
We serve over 36,000 people in the Portland area.
One of those families is Gianna's.
Gianna is part of the MFS After School program, where they offer a variety of activities. They provide the service for free. So when we definitely had the opportunity to help out MFS, it definitely made us feel like we were able to pay it forward for the services that they offer.
I feel very proud of myself for doing this, and I love helping people, so it makes me even more proud.
Oh, she's just amazing. She's an inspiration to everybody. So I checked in with Gianna's mom today just to see how the family's doing. And she says Gianna has been very busy making masks for protesters who are out protesting in Portland, also local restaurants. And Gianna's been able to donate money to the Oregon Food Bank. So we salute her for all of that. All right, this is Welcome News. One of Portland's most peaceful spots reopens tomorrow. We will visit the Japanese Garden in Washington Park when we come back. Well, a Vancouver favorite is starting to reopen. The trails, parking lots, and the grounds at Fort Vancouver are available to use again. The best part, it's all free. The indoor attractions, though, like the Visitor Center, Air Museum, and Barclay House are still off limits for now. The Fort Vancouver website, though, does allow you to visit some of those spots virtually. In Portland, the Japanese Garden reopens tomorrow. Today, members were allowed to visit, but back during the closure, our photojournalist Ken McCormick was allowed in for a glimpse of the garden in the spring.
Garden is closed right now, but in the meantime, it's a beautiful spring. And it's spring this year, though. It's a much earlier. It's a drier and warmer. So that makes you can see the all those plants responding in a very different way than usual year. My name is Sadafumi Uchiyama. I'm the garden curator of the Portland Japanese Garden. The garden is growing for a long time, but in a way they are reborn every year. So spring is in such a time. So really spring gives you this sort of powerful feeling of the rebirth, you're newborn. So it's again the environment and garden gives you that sense. That kind of excites you and very much forward-looking. So I think it's a great time, and everything is growing, moving. Normally you don't see this much growth and the beautiful leaves on the Japanese maple. And you can see here the sound, the sprinkler is running. Normally this time of the year we are not watering, it's raining. And you see the koi down there, fish. They're now very active, right? And normally they are still a little cold with, water. They're ready. And in the normal years, on and off, you have rain. What you see and what you hear is normally in May. So we're a few weeks, it could be a month earlier. Really, what we're doing is to keep the garden ready to open. If it's opening tomorrow, absolutely. If it's opening next week, absolutely. So that's our task. Each year is different and never be the same. So we are always ready to see something different. That is really our job is about. Garden is always unchanged. So that's the important part. When you visit the garden, it's still there, the same way. The garden is waiting for everyone to come back.
It's so peaceful there. Well, the garden reopens at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. There are some changes. The website has a full list, but it includes things like wearing a mask, no cash accepted, limited riders on the shuttle, and new guidelines for walking the paths. So you can go to JapaneseGarden.org for all you need to know. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and please keep sharing the good stuff with us. We love to air it, so you can text your photos and your stories to us to the number on your screen, or email us at thegoodstuff@kgw.com. And as we leave, we should show you a beautiful place in our area. So how about this shot from our Skycam in Pacific City? And producer Brandon wants to give a shout out to Pelican Brewing. He says that place is the real good stuff. Hope you have a wonderful night. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a good one.